Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Welch's knows some things make zero sense, like why the algorithm knows your music tastes better than you do. But Zero Sugar and full flavor, we made that make sense with new Welch's Zero Sugar. All that passion fruit or tropical punch goodness and none of the sugar. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder Express.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed, indeed. Choo-choo.
Choo fucking choo.
Choo-choo. All aboard the murder train, everybody.
Yes.
We are leaving the station right here. Very crazy show for you today. A lot of shows, so we're going to get to it in just one second. Just want to say patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all your bonus stuff.
Yeah.
And this week, you're going to get 2 crazy episodes. Anybody $5 or above is going to get access to everything. Crime and sports bonus episode, Small Town Murder. This week, we are going to talk about the fabulous Moolah, who was a kind of the queen of female wrestling and is accused of pimping the trainee women out. And it's a pretty sordid story for decades. Decades. She's basically like Jimmy Savile of female wrestling.
Yikes.
So, yikes. We'll talk about her. And then, speaking of gross, Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about some Jeffrey Dahmer stuff. And it's going to be we're going to talk about very specific parts of his confession, how he got caught, how he didn't get caught, some weird coincidences. It's just a crazy, crazy episode. You got to hear it to believe it. So do that. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And if you're listening to this right when it comes out this Friday or the weekend following, even what is it, like the 6th, 7th, or 8th of May, you can still get the virtual live show that we put out on Thursday on Cinco de Mayo. So you can get that. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets there. Right. Available till Sunday night. Anyway, let's do this, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Well, before that, let's clear the lungs here.
Yes.
Clear it out.
It's still new.
Shout.
It's still new.
And shout, shut up
and give me murder.
Let's do this, Jimmy.
Okay.
Let's go on a trip here.
Let's
we haven't
go.
been here in a little while. We're headed up to Pennsylvania.
Oh, old PA.
Old PA here, Western Pennsylvania, which we've just been in, as a matter of fact.
Left. Yeah.
We just drove through pretty much this. No, we drove south. We didn't drive west, but we've been through this area. I drove through it driving.
Is that south?
We drove like through the tip of West Virginia over there down to Cincinnati, so we didn't drive straight west. Yeah, or Columbus. I mean, we didn't drive straight west though. We didn't drive to like Cleveland. That would have been kind of through here. So this is Ambridge, Pennsylvania. Okay. It's in Western Pennsylvania, and it's a weird. We won't talk about the town very much, but the name of the town, it's ridiculous. At first, it was called Old Economy. For some reason, Old Economy, like the economy.
Yeah.
And then the locals just called it Oconomy because that was easier for them. And then it was changed to, this is crazy, it was changed to Ambridge because the American Bridge Company owned most of the town.
So Ambridge is in first two letters of American, and it's a bridge.
It's a bridge. So it's named after the American Bridge Company, which made steel here. So they just named the town after it. It was a company town. It was one of those places that you'd probably, I don't know if it was like the coal miners, if you'd have to spend your money at the company store and all that kind of shit. But it was a steel thing here. There was all steel. And then, of course, steel started to dwindle. And the Ambridge Company, the American Bridge Company, ended their operations here in 1983.
Oh, no.
So the town should have renamed itself. Like, it's one thing if you employ half the town, but then you leave, you don't get to be, advertised here anymore. Right. Sorry. What are we doing here? Who would do that?
Right.
That's like keeping the married name of someone you hate. I don't understand that either when people do that. Like, change your name. Why would you keep your name that you don't like? So there's a book from a guy who grew up here, and it's called Rust Belt Boy. And it's about the decline of the town and the steel industry.
Sounds like a bad kid.
Yeah, this is basically like the Billy Joel song Allentown. That's this town. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, there's no more jobs and everybody's miserable, and there's guys are real naked, lathering each other up in the showers. It's really
We hate Alan, we're going to keep the name.
We're going to keep the name, exactly.
Alan's a real dickhead.
He's a real asshole. This place declined. In 1930, there was over 20,000 people here.
Wow.
Right now, there's 7,000. So
holy shit.
It went right in the shitter. As you can see, like, as the steel industry declines, you can see the declining population here. So, it's not a lot going on here in terms of things to do quickly, but I did find one that celebrates the fall harvest. Oh. And it's just, they say, food, music, and activities for the whole family. It's $6 to $10. I don't know how that works, but
I don't know. You call it.
It's called Ernted. It's Ernted Dankfest. Erdkant Dankfest. Looks like that? Ernie, Ted, and Dan got together and made a festival, kind of like Ambridge is cramming these words together. I just thought the name was very, very weird. The music, it doesn't tell you who's performing, so that's going to be good.
Okay.
It's going to be excellent music when they don't tell you the names of the bands. You just know then you're set.
It's Ern, Ted, Danny K Fest. It's
Danny K Fest.
It's them doing. It's all them performing.
It is. So that said, we've set the town up here, a dwindling steel town. A little depressing.
The very ambiguous festival.
Yeah, ambiguous or ubiquitous. Which one were you saying? You said ambiguous. Which one? Which word?
I don't know.
For there, Jimmy?
You guess it.
Ambiguous, I think, is what you meant. It's murky. We don't know what's going on there.
Who knows? It's between $6 and $10 for admission, and it is ambiguous.
It's ambiguous. Are you amphibious, Jimmy? Do you write with both hands?
Jesus fuck.
You just Chris Washburned that situation. You realize that, right?
There's equity in this.
That was awesome. Oh, God damn it. I love choo-choo, everybody. So,
welcome to the show.
All aboard. Let's talk about this crazy-ass murder that we have here, because we want to get it in the time, and there's a lot here. So we want to, first of all, I have to give credit to an article that I found. It's on a few different websites. A guy named Rick Halperin wrote, and he had some very good information that he clearly got some Freedom of Information Act court documents type shit here.
Yeah.
So good for him. Thank you very much for that. And we'll talk about this. So let's first talk about Charles Eugene Cross. Okay. We're going to go to 1981.
Yeah.
So the town is really kind of, the company's leaving in 2 years. So things are not going well.
Right.
It's a blue-collar town on the decline, that sort of thing. This is a good place where quarterbacks come from.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those deals.
Around this time.
Absolutely, yeah.
You better have something clicking, because otherwise shit's about to go awry.
Yeah, the mills aren't even an option anymore.
Right.
It's tough. So Charles Eugene Cross is not a quarterback, I'll tell you that much. In 1981, he's a roofer.
Oh, boy.
And he's a roofer with a wife named Deborah and a pretty lengthy criminal record.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Good. He's done a lot of jail time. He's a lot of things for him. You know, your standard, your burglaries and your aggravated assaults and domestic violence and all sorts of shit. We'll talk about him. He's 34 that year in 1981. He's a big guy, 6'3", 225.
Shit, on a roof?
Big guy, beard, curly hair, kind of a big... Yeah, big kind of intimidating guy, and glasses he wears. His coworkers all describe him as goofy, though. Say he's kind of a goofy personality, just kind of a weird guy, like, oh, that goofball, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah. Everybody knows the goofy guy on the job site, you know what I mean?
He's usually not the giant as the biggest dude on the fucking roof.
Big, huge guy on a roof. Yeah. He's like, you know, Lenny on the roof. Crushing mice's head in his pocket. I petted it too hard, and they're like, oh, God damn it.
Well, he trusts
Charles Eugene.
Western Pennsylvania weathered plywood.
Oh, God, standing up there. So a little background on him, I think, is necessary here. He's third of four kids in his family. Yeah. His parents' names are Lillian and Eugene, so his middle name is his dad's name here. Got it. Grew up in Aliquippa.
Yeah.
And then ended up moving in his middle of his childhood to Ambridge. So kind of a local here. His mother was a drinker, big beer drinker.
Hell yeah.
Now, it's Western Pennsylvania, so this is relative to the household. In Western Pennsylvania in the 80s, and I say this because I have relatives in Pennsylvania, they all had multiple taps in their house, like in the house. Yeah. Taps and booze and drinking is just kind of a way of life, drinking beer.
Keg in the home.
Multiple kegs, not just one keg. Yeah, like they all have a big setup at the bar there. It's just how it works.
House shopping going, that's where we keep the kegs.
So I put the bar here. Okay, that's good. That's good. So to say somebody is excessively into beer drinking in this area means they drink enough where you wouldn't be able to walk around on a daily basis, and that's how they operate. His father was a guitar player and a wife beater, so that helps. That's good.
Perhaps she's drinking so that she doesn't feel it, James.
That's what I mean. Like, he doesn't grow up in a good environment. No. We'll put it that way here. They ended up getting divorced. Yeah. By the way, his family calls him Chucky, which is even worse. I mean,
in 81, that's not a good time.
No, well, not yet.
Prior to that, I guess, right?
After that, Chucky's bad. Because it wasn't.
I mean, they called him that prior to the movies, obviously.
Prior to the movie, yeah. So he got away with one. That's good for him. But he's Chuck or Chucky and all that kind of shit. So once they get divorced, his dad never comes back. He just leaves and never comes back. Done with the kids. So I guess at one point there was they had a child custody hearing with the father and the mother were there, and this is according to his sister Rose. His father stood up in the middle of the hearing, interrupted everybody, ended the whole thing and said, quote, "I don't want any of those little bastards. They're not mine." And then he walked out of court. That was it. He just left. They never saw him again.
That stings.
"I don't want any of those little bastards. They're not mine. Peace out." Goodbye. And he fucking left. Wow, that's awesome. That's a mic drop right there.
It's certainly making a statement.
Those little bastards. That's amazing. At one point, they were walking down the street a couple years later, and they ran into him.
Oh, no.
By chance. Yeah, after he called them little bastards in court.
Hey, fella. Yeah.
Hey, fella. Well, Charlie, young Chucky, ran up. Daddy. Holy shit, I saw my dad. This is a quote from his sister here. Quote, Chuck grabbed him by his legs and gave him a hug. And my father took his hand, the palm of his hand, and pushed it against my brother's face and says, get away from me, you little bastard. Don't ever touch me. You're ruining my pants. And he kept walking.
Don't you remember what I said in court? You're ruining my pants.
You're ruining, get away from me, you little bastard. And don't ever touch me. Oh, my, you little urchin. That is horrific, man.
I just had him pressed.
Didn't even throw like a handful of change at him
No.
or anything. Just fucking walked away. You're ruining my pants. That is brutal.
Cramping my style, kid.
Fuck, you're back then it was you're creasing my pleats, my friend. Like, what are we talking? This is like the early 50s. So
that's my dad. My God, that hurts.
You're a little bastard, as a matter of fact.
I said it on court record. You should know.
Yeah. I've called you a bastard on many occasions, including in front of a stenographer. Like, people took this shit down. Like, a typist was
Somebody
like, little
did this
bastards.
in shorthand.
In shorthand. And then this is how much of a little bastard you are. Like you not meeting your dad till you were in your late 20s. Is that better than this? I think it is.
I don't know.
I think it is.
At least for 28 years, I assumed this is what he would say.
But he could be. Yeah. He could be doing something completely different and just be like, you didn't know.
Longing for my son somewhere.
Even if it's a 2% thing, you could have that fantasy.
Yeah.
Once he's put his palm to your face, shoved you away,
called you
said,
a bastard.
You little bastard, you're ruining my pants. I think there's no more fantasy at that
Don't
point.
ever touch me. Don't ever touch me.
Don't ever touch me. That is horrific. We're laughing because it's so horrifically. If you don't understand how comedians operate, when you hear something this blatantly awful, you're just like, my God, that can't. Wow, that is horrifying. So then his mom Lillian married Arthur Hurley, who was a guy who used to rent a room in their house.
Oh, that's weird.
He was just kind of a drifter who rented a room and then hung around and married his mom.
Stuck around long enough for a marriage.
Perfect. But he liked to drink as well. So between him and the mom, they got along terrific while they drank and got in fights and yelled at each other. He used to beat the mother in front of the kid. And at one point, Jesus, God, this is horrible. Could this kid be around any worse guys?
Right.
She was still talking shit to him, I guess, while he was beating her. So in front of the children, he threatened to cut out her tongue. He pulled a knife out. Yeah, again, fucking horrible. So
there was a time in American history that just beating women was commonplace. That is
it's insane.
I'm so glad that has changed.
It's called the 1950s.
Yeah.
I mean, the most popular show on TV is I Love Lucy. And by the way, I fucking love I Love Lucy.
Sure
Lucy's an icon. I love the whole thing. But at the end of it, at like half the episodes, Ricky would pull her onto his lap and start
paddling,
beating her, and the crowd would howl. Oh, God, this is the good. Well, she would go, oh, Ricky.
Kicking her feet and wiggling.
What the fuck? Yeah. This is crazy. I get that, that it wasn't real, but it's,
right. It's
it's
comedy,
that was the
but
general.
That was what was happening they're laughing because that's silly and not happening. At least he's not punching her about the head and face.
Yeah, she's not going to have to get, that's crazy. So
it's an unbelievable. I'm so thankful that now when there's violence on women, people are like, oh my God, why would you do that?
What happened there?
Yeah.
So this, I guess his sister said about him this. Charlie said that he really felt terrible. He felt that they all felt like they were the trash of the community. They felt like, which is understandable. His sister said about Charlie or Chucky, quote, he felt like he was worse than scum. He felt like the rest of us. We were rejected. We weren't wanted, and we weren't loved, and we were never accepted in anything. She said he was a chronic bedwetter well into his teenage years.
Oh, my.
Which is never a good sign, as we know, for mixed with other things.
Sure.
And which they've also kind of debunked that a little bit, too. There was just a couple people that had that in common. But
it's certainly...
it's not good.
No, it's a sign that there's something underlying. Yeah, the kid is. There's something wrong.
There's trauma usually is what that is. Yeah. So they used to tie the bedwetting into being a serial killer, but then they were like, oh, no, it's the stuff that causes the bedwetting that causes that. It's the trauma from whatever's going on around them. So a classmate said that he was like a nice kid, but he would smell of urine a lot, and he wasn't. He was kind of he was the dirty, smelly kid.
Yeah.
He was the smelly kid.
Mm-hmm.
He was an average student. He was good in like shop class. That was where he excelled. He failed both the 4th and the 6th grade.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, he was the kid with the beard in 7th grade.
Yeah.
Which is tough. And also he's huge, too, which doesn't help.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's a giant kid with a beard in 7th grade, which you can be a bully and stuff like that, but you're not going to be like accepted socially, really, otherwise.
You're going to be the big dummy, and you have to fight to pick on people.
But apparently he was nice. The school awarded him an A for citizenship in his senior year of high school. So, yeah, he was apparently nice.
Well, he was 33.
Yeah. But he was 27, so really, I mean...
He should be pretty nice by then.
He had to take off the day of work from the mill just to go there and accept it. That was the problem. He was like, listen, I got to talk to my supervisor and see. We got some big beams coming in today. We got to, it's a lot going on.
He read the newspaper and drank coffee at lunch break.
I got to go to I got to go to career day in my kid's 2nd grade class, so I don't know if I have time to be there. Citizenship. But he had problems. This is all on the surface. At age 8, Chucky tied another boy to a tree, which is not good. Lit matches, blew them out, and then touched the match heads to the skin of the kid and burned him. Yeah, he was burning kids like that. He tied him to a tree and tortured him for a while when he was 8, which is not a good inclination to have at a young age.
Right.
You shouldn't even think of shit like that at that age. He didn't get arrested or anything like that, but the cops talked to him.
Yeah,
listen, sonny boy. He was arrested 3 times between the age of 14 and 16.
Oh, my God.
That's a lot. Shoplifting was the first time. Another time, he broke in, I guess, to his parents' landlord's place.
Yeah.
And, where they lived, and he stole 3 guns from him.
Oh, my.
As a teenager.
Jesus.
Between, 15. He's doing this. And then he said that he only wanted to shoot the guns, is what he told a psychiatrist that the court made him see for that one. He said he just wanted to shoot them. He wasn't going to do anything. He just wanted to play around in the woods with the guns, and he didn't have any. So that was all. Another time, he was arrested for, destroying a classroom, an English class in high school.
Boy, oh boy.
I don't know how he got the citizenship award. Maybe, you know what? This was like his junior year or sophomore year. Maybe he got the citizenship award just for not destroying some shit by then. They're like, he's come a long way.
Showing up and going home.
He's come a long way. Well, he destroyed the classroom, and then he also took the teacher. It was a music class, apparently, in an English classroom. And he took the teacher's guitar and smashed it in front of him as well. He honky-tonk man Jeff Jarrett at the guitar on his desk in front of him.
Watch this.
I just picture him like smash, and just going, while he's holding the neck of the guitar with strings flying everywhere, just losing his mind. He, this time when he had to see the psychologist for it, he just said, quote, "It was just something to do."
Yeah, that's
just something to do.
Common response.
Yeah. So he did. He graduated 66, citizenship award under his arm, and immediately joins the Marine Corps.
Oh.
Going to Vietnam. I mean, he's gung-ho for it, which, if you're going to...
What's the difference? Yeah.
This kid seems like the type of kid who would enjoy going to war, this would, but he gets, and this is tough to do, he gets kicked out of the Marines after 18 months. We're talking
year and
Vietnam.
A half, yeah.
Yeah, for going AWOL and stealing a garbage truck. He stole a garbage truck to go AWOL in.
Something to do.
Something to do. Well, what he did was he wanted to be home for Thanksgiving and his girlfriend's birthday. They were in the same week. So he was like, I'll kill two birds here, steal this garbage truck and go.
She is going to be so impressed when I show up in this.
When I roll up in this big giant fucking with flies around it garbage truck, when she hears me emptying the cans out in front of the house, she is going to really be impressed. So he claimed he stole the truck just to get away from some kids who were trying to run him over as he walked along the road.
What?
He was walking down the road. People tried to run him over, so he jumped into a nearby garbage truck and stole it. And drove away in it and didn't come back.
The origins of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, that's what that is. Oh, no. Holy shit.
He was get me in this tank.
Yeah, instead it's a garbage truck for him. Didn't like just stay in the truck, which, could take a butting from a car or drive down the street and then, like get out and call the cops at a payphone. No, he just took it.
Yeah.
He just drove it home to see his girlfriend on Thanksgiving. It was like, well, I mean, I already had it. So
brilliant.
Easier. He was convicted in military court, obviously, and sentenced to 5 years probation and given a discharge from the service. We're like, no, thank you, garbage truck guy. So after that, he came back to his home here, came back to Ambridge, got married to a woman named Linda, worked in a bunch of manufacturing jobs, and then moved to Virginia in 1971 with his wife and became a professional fireman.
No kidding.
So, yeah, he did a real flip-flop here. Doing
Turned it
well.
Right around, yeah.
He's doing great until he has an affair with his wife's 14-year-old sister.
Oh, boy, he went
did.
super Virginia.
For like a whole year. Yeah.
Lord.
When he moved to Virginia, he really moved to Virginia.
No kidding.
He went in hard. They were like, no, that's West Virginia. Jesus Christ.
Wrong Virginia, sir.
We try to have some semblance of a society here. This is crazy.
Show some decorum.
West Virginia. That
the capital's right there.
Boone County. That's where you go. When you hear the pill bottle rattle, you're in the right place.
They make laws down the street, you
Jesus
bastard.
Christ. So that relationship,
Gross.
molesting of a 14-year-old girl.
That rape stopped.
Lasted for about a year.
Mm-hmm. Till she realized, or he realized, or...
No,
till arrested.
Till he's arrested. Not for that, unfortunately.
Damn it!
But for raping a neighbor woman. This guy's out of control. He's out of control, man. Mm-hmm. The details of the crime aren't available because back then Virginia destroyed all their criminal records after 10 years. They would destroy them so you wouldn't have anybody's records.
How about not those ones? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
About not the murder, rape, robbery, and assault. Those never get destroyed.
The Mount Rushmore
those
of crime.
ones stick around.
Nope. 10 years. Well, time to shred them, boys. Nope, it's been 10 years. They must have had everybody. We did a scientific experiment, and every 10 years your brain reconstitutes as a different person. So, he claims that it was consensual sex, that she, whatever. But you know what? You were raping a 14-year-old either way. So you know what? There you go. So either way, I think you deserve that. So his sister said that it wasn't true. It wasn't consensual. The details, this is his sister Rose, said the details were actually that he held a knife to the woman's throat while he raped her. So,
Aggravated rape.
It's, way worse than that, which back then that rape conviction carried a possible life sentence. He was convicted of both rape and sodomy, and he was sentenced to 15 years with 5 suspended. So
that is so light.
That's light. 15 years, 5 suspended. Yeah, you got 5 for a knife.
What did he have on the prosecutor? Jesus.
Man, I don't know what was going on there. So he serves about a little more than 5 years, and then he's paroled. And he seems like a good guy to let out on the street.
That's
if anybody
crazy.
has potential to blossom, I feel like it's this guy. You know what I mean?
He just hasn't been given the opopportunities. That's all.
That's all it is. Yeah, he hasn't been given the opportunity to really grow, I think, is the problem. So he serves that 1979, but his wife leaves him while he's in prison. He's got 2 young daughters, which I'm glad he's not around them. That's good.
Yeah.
His wife divorced him while he was in prison, and she got remarried. So they're gone. Okay. And her husband adopted his kids. So
thank God.
Out of the
Goodbye.
picture.
We don't need you.
she's so far the smartest person in this story by far. Got away from him, far, far away.
And
That's
on the
good.
other side of the coin, though, James, this exacerbates things. I can't believe I got that word right. Everybody,
This mask casturbates everything.
Everybody in his life has abandoned him. This is not going to help psychologically. This is terrible.
No, yeah, he's got a lot of problems. So he leaves where he was, Virginia, and comes on back to Ambridge.
Right on back to Ambridge. Oh, boy.
Right on back to Ambridge at 32 years old in 1979. He's all alone.
Yeah.
Comes back. He gets a job at the F.D. Strano Company, which is a roofing company. So he's that's where he gets a job. So now he's roofing.
Okay.
He had it all. He had a nice family, and he's a professional fireman. He could have done all this, but he's a disgusting monster, so he couldn't quite accomplish it. While at work, he meets a man here who's his supervisor in the roofing crew, and his name is John Lucic, well, Senior. He's got a young son. So John Lucic, Lucic. I believe that's Lucic, right?
Could be Lucic. Yeah.
Could be Lucic. Either way, John. And his
John.
his wife is Denise.
Okay.
And she's 27 years old. They've been married almost 9 years.
Yeah.
So, got married young, both of them. They have 2 kids. Okay. They have a daughter named Danielle and a son who's 8 and a son named John Jr. who's 4.
Okay.
So they are doing very well. They're the opposite of what's going on with Chucky. Okay.
They're what Chucky wishes he could have had and been and done.
Exactly. Well, I don't know. Chucky would have screwed this up. Chucky would have been like, oh, yeah, then I can, attack a neighbor at knife point. That's perfect.
She got a sister?
Yeah, she got a little sister I can fucking molest. I don't think John is looking to molest anybody. No. He just seems like a decent guy who's trying to he's a hard-working guy who gets promoted to supervisor at the roofing company.
He's the boss, yeah.
And they saved up some money. They bought an older house at 1530 Duss Avenue. And they bought it from the company, the guy who owns the company, the Strano family. They sold him the house.
Nice.
So he kind of got like a discount, because he works
they
for
really
the company.
Like him. Yeah.
Oh, everybody says this guy is by the book and a hard worker and kind of guy that's going to rise in this kind of company. He's going to be a supervisor, and he was. So, they own this whole construction business, and John was a foreman there. So, and he'd worked there for like 6 years at this point. So, it's fine. So before they moved into the house, the Stranos, the company, remodeled the interior of the house for them.
Wow.
And part of that remodeling crew is our buddy Chucky, old Chucky Cross here. So he was hired by them in 1979. God damn it. That shows... This is like the only 2 jobs you should be able. It seems like carnival worker, as we found in our Oklahoma episode, either carnival worker or roofer. Those are the only. Are you willing to, work in a fucking traveling carnival and be in a strip mall parking lot every other weekend?
Eat corn dogs for a living.
Yeah, or you want to like hot tar in the sun? Which one? Those are the only 2 things that you're qualified to do. And if you're roofing right now while listening to this, I'm not attacking you. If you're listening to this show, you're probably okay. But on either side of you, there's guys that you wouldn't let your kids around. You fucking know that for a fact.
And if you've done it long enough, you've seen why.
Yeah, look to your left. You leaving that guy alone with your family? Nope. Don't think so. Exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about. There's somebody right now laughing on a roof, pointing at a guy next to him going, Jesus Christ, this fucking guy. You know he's got a record longer than your arm.
Yeah.
He definitely does meth before he gets on the roof in the morning just to make it through the day.
He might walk out to his personal vehicle and do it on the street.
Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, Believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
There was an HBO documentary, what was it? High on Crack Street, I think was the name of it, in the 90s.
And it was just roofers?
No, it was this guy, and they were like this, I guess you could call them functioning crackheads.
Yeah.
And he was a roofer, and he'd like smoke some crack in the morning and then do roofing all day. He'd work, 10-hour day, work his ass off, and then come home. They'd eat a little dinner, and then instead of like having a few glasses of wine, they just smoke crack till like 10 o'clock at night and then go to bed and wake up. But they kept their schedule. It was really weird.
Yeah.
He's working. They lived horribly, but they like barely kept it together by the strings of everything. They had a place and a job. It was bad, but yeah, they were roofers too. So anyway, he was part of the crew that did the whole deal.
Remodel, yep.
So a month after this, after they remodeled his house, he ends up having Charlie, or Chucky here, invited his coworkers to a wedding because Charlie gets married. Mm-hmm. So he invites them to a wedding, and John and Denise came as well. So,
Beautiful.
Everybody knows each other. Then in the fall of 1980, there was a little fallout between John and Chucky. They had a little work-related confrontation. And, so I guess John had been Chucky's boss on the roofing crew, and I guess he yelled at Chucky for doing something in front of a homeowner.
Hey.
Chucky didn't like that and held a grudge. This isn't unusual either, by the way. He's the foreman. If someone fucks up on a crew, they get yelled at. Yeah. That's it. So he didn't take kindly to that, though. And other people all had run-ins, too. No one took it personally, except for Chucky. He held a grudge about it. This is in the fall of 1980. So, 10 months later, he's still angry about it. Still pissed off. He confronted John afterwards and warned him never to do that again. And from then on, they used to argue all the time. Constantly. Charlie would glare at him all the time. People said Charlie would harass him on the job.
You can't
harass your boss. That's really weird. Also, he would talk to coworkers and tell them that he was going to kill John. I'm going to kill that son of a bitch. You know
Jesus.
that? I'm going to kill that son of a bitch. Hell yeah. One day in 1980, toward the end of 1980, he's riding in a truck with a guy named David Cottrell, who worked on the roofing crew as well, headed to a job. And he cross-asks him. Chucky says, "Let's go over to John's house and rape his wife." That was his solution.
What?
That was his suggestion for the day. Hey, rather than go into work like we're supposed to, let's go rape the boss's wife. That was his fucking solution.
How do you walk that back? How do you go, just kidding? Or the other guy, how do you just laugh that off? How do you not go, I'm going to call John right now?
I'm going to call the cops right now. What are you talking about? This is crazy. Then he said, well, I mean, if John shows up, we'll have to kill him. So, either way, but let's go do it. And the guy said he just ignored him. He just acted like, he's blowing off steam. Because he said he's goofy. Everybody said he talks shit all the time. I'm going to stab that guy. I'm going to kill that guy.
Threatens
he doesn't do
people.
I'm going to rape people's wives. He just throws around these anecdotes.
Jesus Christ.
Just tosses them off like it's like a. Oh, that's not good. Tosses them off. That would be different
Please
in England,
don't do
but
that.
still, it's very strange.
Horrible.
Horrible. He's a horrible fucking man. So on August 4th, 1981, so this is like 10 months after their confrontation, Chucky approaches another employee, a guy named Raymond Hours, and he tells him, I'm going to kill John's wife and kids. What do you think of that? He goes, tell you what, Raymond, would you help me with that? Were you interested?
Yeah.
Now, Raymond, everybody says, is a little bit slow, as we'll talk about.
Oh, boy.
He's a little bit slow, but he does, not like, technically or anything. He's, whatever. There's nothing on his driver's license that says anything. He's got.
He can drive fine.
No, I'm just saying. He's
allowed
just,
to vote and everything.
He's a little bit slow. That's all. Yeah, he's not like whatever. So he said no, thank you. I'm good. Actually, I don't want to kill the boss's family. But Hours tells other people in the crew, hey, this guy just asked me, has he ever asked you to like kill this guy's wife and kids? Because that's weird, right? So they were like, Jesus Christ. They were like, that's just him. He talks a lot of shit and he blows off steam.
He threatened to rape the wife a couple weeks ago. I get it. No big deal.
And it's not like he's been in prison for that recently or anything. So
we didn't check his background, but obviously.
Yeah,
wouldn't you? How do you get a job if you've got rape? Well, then again, 10 years later, who knows? It's gone.
Virginia, yeah.
It's been torn up.
Plus, it was in a different state back then. The computers aren't the same. I don't think they were. If you showed up and you were a big guy who said you knew how to do roofing, they'd probably hire you.
I can lift shingle. Cool. Yeah, you're hired.
I can't imagine some company doing like full federal background checks on roofers in 1979. I can't imagine that. They hired anyone who showed up. It was like being a carny, probably. So if you were willing, if you had the back for it and were willing to stand in the sun and with
Wait, you want to do this job? Sure.
Shit. All right. Do we tell you what we pay? All right. Well, come on then.
Come on. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So he now Denise, John's wife, was with her son spending the afternoon at a friend's house, a woman named Paulette Battisti. So about 3:30, this Paulette realized that her husband was going to be home from work and she needed to start getting dinner ready and all this type of shit. Yeah, he wanted to, well, I guess she said he wanted to eat dinner so he could cut the grass out and get that done tonight. So anyway, the kid, the 4-year-old John, he wanted to stay and watch cartoons with this lady's kids, but this lady said no and, whatever. She said, no, you go with your mom. And so Denise and little John go home. Okay. A neighbor here, a friend of hers, a woman named Robin Mamey at 4:00 talked to Denise on the phone. She called her and they talked for about 45 minutes after Guiding Light was over, the soap opera.
Yeah.
This woman watched Guiding Light and called Denise at promptly 4 p.m. because that's when Guiding Light was over. That's how she knew it. So 45 minutes they talk. Now the roofing crew finishes up a job back at the warehouse, which is close by the way. We're talking 10 blocks away from the warehouse is where John and Denise live. So they get there between 4:30 and 5. They finished a little early that day, the roofing crew. So everybody punches out and they're going home. Now John wasn't there. John was working with another crew somewhere else, so he hadn't gotten back yet. He was still out on the job. So he had a couple more hours to go.
Okay.
So about 5 p.m., the woman, Paulette, who had Denise was visiting that day, she sends her daughter over to borrow 2 eggs from Denise. Okay. So she said she watched as the girl walked behind the houses and went to the back door. She said, I could see Denise come to the back porch. And she said, Denise waved to me as she gave my daughter the eggs. And, that was that. So anyway, it's about a 10-minute walk from the company, from the F.D. Strano company to John and Denise's house. All right. So just before 6 p.m., 2 employees at the Strano warehouse, Robert Piltz and Joseph Durbin, see Charlie Cross running across a park across the street there. He was coming from
the direction,
away from he was running toward the warehouse, basically. So he's disheveled, he's frantic, and he's covered in blood.
Oh, boy.
Doesn't have his glasses on. They said it's the first time they'd ever seen him without glasses. He's one of those. He's like, you. If you take your glasses off, you're like, where am I now? Who's in the room?
Looks like Jimmy.
Who's here? You start getting freaked out and shit.
Yeah, that's why I have several pairs of glasses, so that if I lose them, I can put a pair on to find them.
I've seen you in a hotel room misplace them for a moment, and it's a panic, and I'm like, oh, that sucks,
no!
Dude. I feel it for you. I want to help you. I'm like, oh God, where are they? Jesus, that looks so painful.
I'm the girl from Scooby-Doo. I'm so vulnerable.
Oh no, you pick them up.
I can be murdered at any minute.
No, and you put one. It's just got one lens, and then it breaks apart. So he's all fucked up here. No glasses. He had a cut on his nose and one hand wrapped in a white towel.
Oh, they got to go look at him.
Well, he ran right up to them.
Yeah.
They watched him run all the way up, and he shows up, and he's babbling about being on a service call, and he fell off a ladder, and he's like, blah, 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 blah. So he runs inside the building, goes in the bathroom, washes up, then he gets a soda from the soda machine, and he's standing around. He's still visibly upset. And he changed it. And that's when they're like, what happened to you? You fell off a ladder? And he's like, well, let me tell you what really happened.
Oh, boy.
He said, I went to John's house, John and Denise's house there. He said, because Denise had called earlier in the day to talk to John. And while he answered the phone and he talked to her, and she asked him about doing some sort of remodel work there. Oh. So he was like, I went over to the house to give an estimate to go walk around and look around. He said, I got there, and they're all dead. They're all dead. Denise, the kids, they're all dead. Denise, the two kids, just dead. He said, please don't tell anyone.
What?
They said, the employee said, you have to call the police, dude. Yeah. You don't have a choice in the matter. This is crazy. So the police station's right down the block. It's like 2-minute walk. So he walks a few doors down, still covered in blood, mind you, his clothes and everything, and walks into the police station that way. And he's like, there's dead people in the hall. They're all dead in there. You might want to check that out.
Call y'all. I got to go.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. So this guy at the police station calls his partner, his cop partner there, and they arrive at 6:00, or he got it to the police station at 6:04. All aggravated and all that sort of shit. So they said, okay, so they walk into the house. He leads them into the house. They said, come back here. They arrive at 6:15, the cops, and the first thing they see is, well, first of all, everything's covered in blood. There's blood everywhere, all over the house. They see the bodies of Denise and of John Jr. as well. He's four. They were side by side on the floor of a small bedroom at the top of the stairs by the second floor. There's blood everywhere. Walls, ceilings, all over the place. It's horrible. He has no clothes on, but it's because he's about to take a bath. The tub is a third full of water. There's tub toys are set up.
Right.
Like she was about to put the kid in the bath there. So then they walk to another small adjoining bedroom, and they find 8-year-old Danielle as well. And she's been strangled and stabbed through the heart with a screwdriver.
Good Lord.
And there's a blood-smeared pillow stuffed in her mouth as well that they find. This is horrible.
This will talk bad about me in front of a customer?
That's what I mean. This is from a beef about feeling slighted in front of a customer.
I guess.
Well, who knows? Maybe he didn't do it.
I'll be treated better tomorrow.
Maybe he didn't do it. Let's wait for his story. You never know. Maybe this could be legit here. These poor fucking people, man. Jesus Christ. These poor kids. This is terrible. They said, Denise, the mother, she died of being strangled and then having her throat cut with a sharp knife or other instrument. They said it was a sharp metal instrument of some kind. And John Jr. died of slashing wounds to the throat.
Good Lord.
So this is absolutely fucking horrible. They found blood in the hallway on the first floor of the house and along the stairway up to the second floor. So they just followed the blood trail till they found them. They believe that at least one of the victims was killed downstairs and carried up to the second floor.
Vicious.
There is no signs at all of any sexual assault on anybody, though. That is,
just a vicious murder.
Just fucking horrible. So after they see the bodies, Chucky's there. They say, well, we're going to place you under arrest because you
chat with you a little bit.
So they get a search warrant for the warehouse that he works at, and they find a utility knife hidden in the rafters of the bathroom that he had used the previous evening when he came in. Right. And on it, it's the knife. It's a utility knife that they use to cut shingles, so it's very sharp.
Yeah.
And on it, carved into it, is the name Cross.
Wonder who this belongs to.
That's a tough one. There's blood residue on the knife, and it's a mixture of the blood of John Jr. and Denise.
Yeah.
Not good. And and some of his, too, as well. And, by the way, there's blood from all 3 victims on his shirt and pants.
Okay.
But he said he went in there and discovered them. Right. The pillow found with Danielle there, they found a fingerprint. There's a bloody palm print on it that matches old Chucky just perfectly as well.
No.
So that's not good at all, obviously. No signs of a struggle here at all. So this was like a surprise.
Yeah.
Because he had been in the house. She'd gone to his wedding.
Oh,
she would let him in. You know what I mean? If he said, John sent me here to look at something, or she would let him in. She couldn't text him in 1981.
Yeah.
So the next door neighbor, Stella Ricci. Wow, that's very Italian.
Yeah, it is.
Stella Ricci.
Sounds like a wine brand.
Wow. I'll take the, let me get the Stella Ricci Pinot. Yeah, I'll take the Stella Ricci. That's a good one. So that's a sweeter one. I'll take the sweeter one. So she said she heard shouting between 4:45 and 5:15. She said she didn't think anything about it because, quote, you don't pay any attention to yelling when you have families with kids. You don't think of a murder. You just think that the kid, maybe the kid was jumping off the couch and you go, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Who knows? So she said there was normally no yelling at the house. The couple she said they have well-behaved kids. They didn't even yell at their kids. They were it's a very peaceful environment here. Now, poor John, he's working when he learns about the murders.
Oh, my.
He's at a job site, and, his boss said, I talked with him, he's a very heartbroken individual. He's taken it awfully hard.
I'm sure.
No shit?
His whole thing
Shocking.
Is over. Yeah.
Shocking that his whole family's been butchered and he's taking it hard. Yeah. You'd think he'd be like, well, easy come, easy go. I'm going to go go cruising for chicks tonight. Who's in,
Sometimes you have a tough day.
Fuck, who's single? That's not what he's going to say. If he says that, then I worry that he was involved. So now he goes to court here because obviously he's arrested. Mm-hmm. The case has to be moved to Montgomery County because of the obvious publicity that happens over this. You butcher a whole family.
Yeah.
It's one of those here. So his lawyer right away says that opening statements, Chucky's going to testify on his own behalf. He's got a story to tell about how all this happened and how he did not murder these people. He said that he will tell you that this is so the prosecutor said, though, he'll tell you that he punched out from work and proceeded to go to the home of his boss, John, and he'll tell you why. Then he said, his lawyer said, the defense attorney, further, Mr. Cross will testify as to the tragedy he discovered. He will tell you his reaction. He will tell you further that he left the residence on foot, returned to the Strano warehouse, and talked to who worked there. So the main issue is that, because they say this is premeditated, he asked this other dude if he wanted to help that same day. So they call old Raymond Hours to the stand, and he's the star witness. And the defense stresses inconsistencies in his story, but also tells the jury to ignore. He goes, it doesn't matter. He said, ignore his lack of schooling. He goes, it doesn't matter that he dropped out in the 10th grade. That's not what I want you to concentrate on. So they're saying he's stupid, but that's not why.
Don't ignore that. Or please do ignore that.
Please. He said, I don't want you to think that because the young man can't read that I'm going to hold that against him. That could happen to anyone. The defense attorney said that in his opening. I mean, just because he can't read and he's, I don't know, he's a little bit shady character. I've heard things. That's all I'm going to say. Don't bring your kids around him. That's all. So Hours, he said that he went straight home after work because their whole thing is maybe we can blame this on him. Maybe he'll maybe they'll buy that shit. So he says he went straight home after work. You're not pinning this shit on me. I didn't do it. So he said he went shopping with his sister. His sister testified that he was shopping with her.
Right.
So he's got pretty good alibi. People saw him at the store. he was confused on the stand, but they asked him, "What did you do prior to that?" And he didn't know what prior to meant. Raymond Hours. So that was a problem. It took like 5 minutes for them to understand that he didn't understand that, and then to explain it to him. It took a while. So that was a confusing part. The defense attorney said, "Why would anybody who wanted to kill someone go to Hours to get him? You saw him. Are you going to go to Hours? Are you going to ask that guy?" Jesus Christ, man. So the district attorney said that Hours, quote, "was certainly not the brightest person in the world." This poor bastard is getting knocked. All he is a witness who came forward like a good citizen, and they're like, "Listen, we know he's a dipshit." So the prosecutor's saying that, yeah, it's not the brightest guy, he says, but he said his simplicity made him the perfect partner to try to recruit. This is the prosecutor with his star witness. He said that Cross would have been foolish to approach a more intelligent coworker. Quote, "Someone who was going to hang him, who better to go to than Raymond Hours? That guy doesn't even remember his own last name." This is the prosecutor.
Yeah.
He said that Raymond Hours may forget a lot of things, but you better believe he wasn't going to forget this. No one would let him forget it. So
He'll forget his last name, but not this.
Not this. Not being asked for murder here. So this is fucking wild. So anyway, his story here, the scientific evidence, by the way, is just off the charts. There's blood on him, blood all over his stuff. He hit his knife in the rafters. There's no... It's all there. They brought FBI guys in to talk about all of the different blood. It's on his green work pants, khaki work shirt, a white work T-shirt, work shoes, work socks, and his glasses.
He's fucked.
Mixtures of everybody's blood.
Yeah. And
they don't have DNA at this point, but the profile examined was shared by this is one of the kids, between 0.05 and 2% of the population. So
yikes, that's damning.
It's damning. And then the pillow palm print puts him right there as well. So it's pretty damning. He's got to have a pretty good story to get out of this one. Want to see how good of a story he has?
I can't wait.
Okay. Well, he testifies.
Yeah.
He takes the stand. He says he left work at 5:10 to go to his boss's house to give an estimate for repair work on their bathroom. Uh-huh. He said that he received a phone call a week or two earlier from a caller he assumed was Denise because the caller had asked for John. So, the caller suggested that maybe Cross could give her a bid on some repair work. So he never mentioned the repair work to John in the 2 weeks, like, "Hey, do you want me to come over and give you an estimate?" Yeah. He just decided on August 4th to walk up to the house and...
The wife shops around. She doesn't tell him.
No. He said, I'm going to take the initiative here, go get some business and give it a look-see. He said when he arrived, he knocked and received no answer. So rather than leave, the door was open a little bit. So he said he went inside and called out for Denise. He didn't get any answer. He was like, where are these people? Now, you would leave, correct, at this point? Yeah. Okay, no. He said he went upstairs and into a bedroom to look for them. That's what you do.
Yeah.
You need the work bad. This is... Wow, if he didn't kill everybody, this is very much initiative here. You can't call him lazy. So there, he said he found Denise and John Jr. covered in blood. He said he started to step over the boy to get to Denise so he could check her pulse, but his knee gave out. He's got a trick knee, you see.
Yeah.
His knee gave out, and he fell on top of the little boy, getting his blood all over him, on his shirt, obviously. Fell on top of him.
It's a cartoon.
He said, oh no. He said, I fell on top. He said, so next he knelt beside Denise.
Yeah.
Knelt beside her and picked her up and cradled her in his arms.
Wake up. I need to show you the bathroom.
Do you what kind of tub do you want? You want pedestal sink? Pedestal sink? I know we're not laughing at her. This is ridiculous.
This is
that this man is saying this. So he said he knelt beside her, picked her up, cradled her, and checked for a pulse on her wrist and neck.
Yeah.
He said he found no pulse, so he laid her back down gently. He said at this point, he broke down and cried. He said, quote, I broke down and cried. He said in his crying, he pulled, he was like
touching
bent over, sobbing, getting blood on his glasses, obviously. Yeah. And he said at that point, his knife, his razor-sharp utility knife, fell out of his shirt pocket and into a pool of blood.
Yeah.
So, because he pulled out a handkerchief to dot his eyes, get the tears out, and he pulled the utility knife out, fell into the blood. Now it's got everybody's blood on it. Great. Perfect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he said also the screwdriver, which is what the little girl was killed with, also fell out of his pocket, and that fell into a pool of blood as well. So, you know how that goes. He said he picked them both up and walked into the little girl's room where he found her lying on the floor with the pillow. And, oh, God, it was so bad. He said he removed the pillow to check and see if she was breathing, but she wasn't breathing and there was no movement. So he, quote, replaced the pillow the way he found it. Just stuffed it back into her mouth. Yeah, you know. He then returned to the bedroom where he first found John Jr. and Denise and moved the bodies around back because he said, quote, he figured he'd better put all the bodies back the way he found them.
What a story.
Then he said as he was going downstairs, he fell down the steps. What a day. What a day for this man. He fell down the steps and broke his glasses. That's how that happened. It wasn't that, Denise punched him in the face while he tried to stab her in the throat or anything like that. So this is obviously probably the most ridiculous story ever.
Yeah.
I
hope the jury is in stitches.
His defense is, who would be that stupid? That's his whole defense. This is a quote from his lawyer in closing. Why would someone plan 3 murders and not have transportation? Why would someone be guilty and go straight to the police station? Because he's a fucking moron. That's why.
Right.
That doesn't mean he's not a murderer. He also said if that was a fabrication, his story, he could have sure come up with a better story than that. If you're going to fabricate a story, make it good. How? He's covered in blood. Yeah. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely asinine. The verdict comes in, and he is found guilty of all 3 murders. Extremely guilty in the first degree.
Yeah.
His wife at the time, Deborah, erupted into tears and ran out of the courtroom, yelling, "Leave me alone," as friends tried to comfort her.
Wow.
She yelled, "No," as it happened, and it's crazy.
Yeah, lady.
It's really, really ridiculous. So during sentencing, Cross says this. This is what this moron says. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, he's up for the death penalty in the electric chair here. He says, quote, "This jury of 12 people have found me guilty of a crime that I did not commit. I stand before God Almighty as an innocent man. While you found me guilty, the guilty parties are still on the street. Eventually, they are going to kill again. When they kill again, possibly a confession could come forth. If you send me to the electric chair, it wouldn't help me any. If you send me to a penitentiary for life, at least I could be released and get on with my life. I plead with this jury that you come back with a life sentence. And it is going to be a long sentence since I have time waiting for me in Virginia of 15 years. Because he's back, that's reinstated. Mm-hmm. From my understanding, I will spend 20 years before I'm eligible for parole here. That's 35 years I will be spending behind bars. I have nothing more to say. Just have mercy on me. And they tell him, you, sir, may fuck off, hop on in the electric chair, make sure to wet yourself down first. Eat dick, sir. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Death. Now, he ends up having it overturned, his death sentence, then having it reinstated.
Really?
Then having it overturned again, and then finally having it reinstated one more time.
That is a brutal stay in jail, man.
3 death sentences he has here.
Oh, boy.
3 of them. Because like in 1990, they had a new governor, and he just started signing death warrants left and right. Like, let's get cooking, boys. I mean, fucking signing away. And then that came under review because he was trying to like really push people through. Yeah. And they were like, let's stop with these damn appeals and get people in that chair. So, he was supposed to be executed October 2nd, 1990. They had a date and everything, but 2 weeks before, a federal judge blocked it here. A Beaver County Common Pleas Court stayed his execution. He tried to say it was ineffective assistance of counsel because they didn't bring his sister up there to talk about his childhood and how harrowing it was. But his sister told in her private investigator testimony talked about him raping women at knife point and tying kids to trees and shit. So she wasn't going to be very helpful and saying he's a nice guy.
You can't bring up the part where his dad said, "Don't touch me ever." If you're going to bring that up, you also bring up the part where he raped a child and a grown woman. You can't do that.
Yeah. It's fucking insane. Yeah, his life has not been anything that you can... No, and I get that his childhood was rough, but he joined in that shit when he was, at a very early age. His citizenship award isn't going to get him out of this, you know what I mean? So in 2005, because he had, after his third death sentence that he's gotten, they really want to kill him. Whoa. In 2005, a federal judge overturns his 3 death sentences. Prosecutors appeal the ruling, and he was up again to be sentenced for a 4th time to death before the U.S. Third Circuit Court of Appeals in Philadelphia. But they didn't have to. They didn't have to bother, because on March 12th, 2008, at age 60, at 7:25 a.m., he died in a state correctional facility in the infirmary.
Oh, he was sick.
For being a fat twat. That's what he died of. He died of assholeism.
He died of being a jerk.
Yep. One of the cops that walked with him and went into the house and found these bodies, it said he's never been able to erase the memory of it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Horrible. He says, quote, "I was raised to feel bad when someone dies, but I don't." That's what he said about him dying. I guess this ends a very, very sad story. And he was one of the longest-serving death row inmates in the history of the state of Pennsylvania.
Really, at the time,
he was there for 27 years, and 26 years on death row, and he deserved it because he was a twat. And that is Ambridge, Pennsylvania, and the story of a town named after a bridge company and an absolute scumbag.
And they deserve a twat.
And poor John, he ended up moving away from town, I think, to move in with some relatives at first to recover from this. That poor man.
Oh, man.
I just hope that his life, I hope he could, I don't even know how you put the pieces together after that.
How do you do it? How do you gather?
I hope he was able to, because it's as bad as you can feel for a person that their whole family was wiped out because you told a guy that he didn't do his job right. Which is your job. That's crazy.
You told a dickhead he's a dickhead in front of somebody.
Yeah.
And
wow. God forbid.
Anyway. The stunning part is just that's his penance. Like, he's going to kill the guy's family, and then he's going to show up to work the next day, and the boss is going to be like, "You got me there."
Hey,
you got me that time.
That's a good one. That's a
son
killed
of a
my
bitch.
whole family. You bastard! I'll get you. I'm going to put you on the worst job I have. Hold on, let me get my schedule. It's ridiculous. So,
he's going to make him the supervisor now. Oh, you've done it. You've killed. This isn't Greece. This isn't Rome.
No,
you don't just kill people and move up.
So anyway, that's that. That's the story. If you like that, let us know about it and everything like that. Follow us on social media, on Instagram, or at Small Town Murder, at Murder Small on Twitter. Check us out there. Virtual live show. Remember, if you're listening, the first May 6th, 7th, or 8th, it's still available right now. Yeah. Get your tickets and do that. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com. Patreon.com/Crime and Sports. Do that. Come back next week for Small Town Murder Express. All aboard.
Choo choo, motherfucker.
Choo choo, bitches. Have a good one. We are out of here.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.